Hello, everyone. Let me reintroduce myself. My name is Camila. I'm a fourth-year student here at QMAP University, and I'm studying computer science. But right now, it doesn't matter. All I'm asking you to do is either close your eyes and listen carefully, because imagine a small girl who's passionate about how numbers work, solving math problems, and overall technology just fascinates her. And later in life, she chooses to pursue this college major and become a woman in STEM. But one person from her inner circle tells her, choose something that is more reliable, something that is more feminine, and something that is not STEM. I don't have to imagine it, I've lived it. Back in the days when I got first places in Olympiads, a lot of people told me that I either bribed the judge or was too communicative and got my first place because of that. But never that I did a great job, that my project was fascinating, or overall, I deserved to be here. Kazakhstan wants to be a tech innovator to lead the world of technology. But the fact, according to UNESCO, only 18% of STEM graduates are women. It's a fascinating statistics. And not only that number is low, 54% of Kazakhstani citizens, and it's 10.8 million people, 5 times more than population of this city, think that women do not belong in STEM, that I don't deserve to stand here and preach about technology. Imagine a small girl living in rural areas of central Kazakhstan or Central Asia in general. She dreams of building planes or just fascinated by technology and wants to build something that is cheaper, reliable, and innovate the thing that will be a breakthrough. But she doesn't have an access to computers, internet, or nothing that will help her to actually pursue her dream. And besides that, her family tells her, you should focus on being a good wife or a sister instead. But what if she dares to dream? What if she dares to have plans on her own? According to UN Women, 1 in 3 females in Kazakhstan suffer from abuse. And for us, silence is not a punishment, it's an abuse. And the fact that a lot of people have to fight for their rights to be on their workplaces. A lot of people in STEM field, especially women, have to prove over and over again that we can't stand here and preach and say everything that we want because we're humans too. When a woman has an access to all of her resources and when she does get a job, the challenges don't stop there. The glass ceiling exists. When they're applying for job applications, statistically proven, men will probably get the job instead of her because she will not take a maternity leave. Or when a woman wears a lab coat, she's probably assumed that she's an intern instead of someone who's in charge. When a woman does something so fascinating, she's hidden behind the shadows of her bosses and someone who is not her. I have a great example. Priscilla Chan, wife of Mark Zuckerberg. She's actually holding multiple Harvard degrees in pediatrician. But the thing is, whenever I open news articles, I see the fact that she's not someone who's competent and ambitious. I see the fact that she's the wife of Mark Zuckerberg. Everything that she does is tied to him, nothing besides him. I have an example of women who did break through, but not because the system helped them, but because they fought the system. I have an example of 3 persons here. I will show them to you. Bayesh Vajar, a chemical engineer, a person who was one of the first people in Kazakhstan to earn her doctorate degree in chemistry engineering. She was one of the first females and PhD holders who published her researches on chemistry, and her husband took the credit for it. Alexandra Elbakyan, a founder of Sci-Hub, a person who helps us every single day to find the articles and researches, who helps women to publish their books. But the thing is, her website is actually blocked in Russia because they don't think that she is capable of being the founder. Aliya Beisenova, the first and the only woman back in Kazakh USSR who got her PhD degree in geography and sciences. She published multiple and hundreds of researches connected to the beauty of our country, but the thing is that she never got the credit for being the professor at the Central Milan University. And I'm standing here today not to preach about the fact that we deserve our spots. It should be normalized. I shouldn't have to wear my badge every single day to work to prove you that I'm worthy of the place that I hold. I don't have to hit every single milestone because every single step that I take is dictated by men. And my message to you is, if someone tells you that you're not worthy to wear this lab coat, or you're not worthy to stand here and preach about the fact that you deserve to be here, prove them wrong. Every single time someone questions your worth, tell them that you are capable of it. And my message to my sisters here who hold multiple degrees and hold multiple 70s, you are worthy of it. You don't have to let men dictate every step that you take. And I know a lot of people here have sisters and younger girls who are probably so passionate about STEM. We don't need fewer women in STEM, we need more. Breaking gender gap and pay gap in Kazakhstan could bring our GDP by $600 billion. Imagine how much money we could earn by just normalizing equality. So my final question to you is, when someone tells you that you can't be here, will you actually listen to them? Or you will stand here and tell everyone to prove them that you are yourself and that you can be here and preach about the fact that I am myself and I deserve to be here. Thank you.